Hi, I'm Alexis Pena with CZ USA here at SHOT Show 2025. A lot of buzz around the new CZ Shadow 2 Target, and I've been asked to talk a little bit about it, but I think I'm going to talk a lot about it instead. So the CZ Shadow 2 Target is a little bit different from what you would traditionally think with a Shadow 2, in that the standard Shadow 2 series has always been action pistol shooting, running and gunning, dropping magazines, shooting under time, things like that, whereas the Shadow 2 Target is more of a dedicated stand and shoot target style gun. At least that's what some of the feature set is mostly designed for. But at the very beginning stages of the gun, it starts off with the same level of fit and finish as you would find on the Orange series of guns. So it's the first Orange level gun that we've done without any orange on the gun. So we make this in a 5 and a 6-inch barrel, which we've not done before either, which is super new and exciting. Up front, you'll see a blacked out front sight blade, where in the past, where we would traditionally do a fiber optic front sight, so a little bit different there. Actually ships with 2 in the box. So we've got a wider blade and a narrower blade, so you can kind of fine tune how you want your sight picture to look. We've got an LPA adjustable rear sight, so a little bit different from the standard Shadow 2 sight. Moving down to the frame is where things start to get really interesting. So the frame is quite different from the standard Shadow 2. Ergonomics, feel is all going to be the same, but a few different key features. So starting off, here underneath the dust cover, you can see there are 2 holes, and that is for mounting frame weights to the gun. So it lets you fine-tune the balance how you like. There'll be 2 different weight options offered. I don't have the weight amounts in mind right now, but there will be 2 separate options. It'll be in the same profile as the dust cover, so it's not like we're just slapping a piece of metal on here. It'll look really good and really finished, following the same contours. If we move further down, actually on over to the up a little bit to the slide stop, you'll see it's got a different profile on the slide stop. Again, you're not going to have as pronounced of a shelf on it like you do on these Shadow 2s, but these are really designed to be used after you go to slide lock, things like that. It just makes it a little bit easier to manipulate when you're running around stages and running and gunning, whereas not quite necessary here. Similarly, the magazine release button is also a bit more subdued. Since you're not having to do reloads under time pressure, you don't need the big magazine release paddle, so you've got a much smaller design, just make it a little bit less obtrusive and more out of the way. The trigger guard is also quite new, what they've done over here, and I'm trying to get these cords out of the way here for you. But the first undercut is deeper than we've done in the past, but what's new is we've also done a double undercut, so allowing you to get your support hand higher up on the gun. The higher we can get our hands up on the gun, the better the recoil management is. So new for the Shadow 2 Target. The trigger, which is the first thing people notice and what people have the most questions about, is entirely different too. The way it operates is still quite similar, but the trigger shoe itself is it's a flat aluminum trigger. The gun is single action only, and it actually sets on a rail, allowing you to, by loosening a set screw, slide it forward or backwards. So if you have long fingers like me, you want to move it forward so you have a perfect reach to the trigger. If you have shorter hands or shorter fingers, you can slide it further back and kind of fine tune where that trigger meets the pad of your trigger finger. Over travel and pre-travel adjustment like we've always had on the Shadow 2s. But if you remove the slide from the top, you can get to a set screw to adjust the trigger pull weight, which is we've never offered that in the Shadow 2 series before. I believe it's about 1.5 pounds, adjustable to 1.5 pounds to 3.5 pounds. So again, exclusively available on the Shadow 2 Target. Front and back strap checkering are a little bit different. Not sure that they're any more or less grippy or tacky than you would find on the standard Shadow 2, but however, it is a different profile, and aesthetically, I think it does look pretty sharp. And lastly, the grips. The grips, we went from an aluminum grip to a G10 with a very tacky pattern on it. So it's great at providing a lot of friction, so the gun's not moving around in your hand. So it adds more friction without being sharp, which is sort of the trend that you see today. So very comfortable to shoot for long periods of time without really tearing your hands up, but making sure again that gun is firmly in your hand and not moving around. And I believe that covers it for the CZ Shadow 2 target.